conversation with OTTplay. How you been?
I'm good. Going on.
Okay. Because you've been very busy with the promotions of Vikrant Rona, you're doing everywhere. And one of the many things that you mentioned was that you owe it to Priya, that she got you to listen to this script.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, at that juncture in your career, when all of this was happening, what is it that you were looking for that Priya thought that this film might just be the right fit?
Nothing. She was just. It sounded a little different. See, when I was doing my films, regular commercials, what was happening. So this came across probably because she's a Malayali, and they have this very content-oriented films what they keep watching in their language. You know, maybe that's made her get connected to it very easily. And then she asked me to hear it on a per se that we'll produce it with some newcomers and something like that. And she also told me just hear it. Maybe you also like it. I heard it. It is a very small film. See, there's a beautiful plot in the film, but it is not that Vikrant Rona. I heard Vikrant Rona as a package. It is a very tiny film, which is a low budget, which Anup also had in mind that is a low budgeted, and that's the thing. And we were already in the discussion of Dillaranga Bhasha. So we are already through many months, and probably now I had an opinion about Anup, as well as I just kind of knew him as a personality and what he can do as a visionary. So I guess when I heard this, we took some time, and I wanted to make it like big. Why? Because I always have liked Indiana Jones, I always have liked Jumanji, I have always liked Tarzan. And I used to always wonder as a child, how is it that they have such beautiful jungles and temples? And then it took me like a lot of years as I grew up, then I realized, okay, there's something called as sets, which they put, so this is not an original jungle, this is not an original temple, the sets, and these are all graphics.
Right.
So we have grown up in that, and then I got a point where I could do a film of that sort. And immediately I wanted to jump in. So the moment I decided that this film went somewhere else, the budgets went somewhere else. So as a director, with just 2 films in his pocket, it's not something that he could discuss with us and say, "Sir, let's make a huge film." Okay, so he just came with an idea, and I think I started sugarcoating everything. And then the best thing that I thought is like Manju himself should produce this, was my manager. That's how I look at it. And then I pushed him, and he has never done big films. He's done many films in life. But then he also liked it. He came in. And today the whole perspective, when you look at Manju, looks very different. And he's done such a wonderful job. So I guess it just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew, and today it is here, Vikrant Rona it is. I guess, they came with an idea, and I put it in a different platter because I found a potential there. And Anup, I was very confident that, if I take it to this budget also, I knew he's one guy who will handle it. And he did it very well.
So that was actually a question that I would have come to at a much later stage. You already addressed it. So I would want you to elaborate a little bit on that. You just said just 2 films old, he couldn't have possibly told you, maybe we should do it at that scale. So then what gave you the confidence that he can handle it? Because there's nothing to show that he can.
See, one, I don't think if I didn't have those instincts, I wouldn't have worked with many newcomers. So there are a lot of newcomers who are today, who have made it big and who are there in this industry. It's all those instincts that I have that, okay, this guy is worth, he can do it. I see, it's IQ. I will fail if I try and, if you ask me, how does that work for me? It just works for me. I feel that this guy's got potential. And I just felt it about him. And after that, beyond that, one more thing is, Pratibha, I believe in myself. Worst that can happen is I'll just put that person out and I'll handle it from him. I'll take over from there. That's one thing that I've always adapted in my life. My car will not stop. I never felt at any moment that I will have to do that with Anup. But it is never that anything will come to a halt. The scary part is not there. Least what will happen, I'll make a beautiful director's chair and they'll sit there. With AC, with all the best of the food, I'll take over.
But also, when you said you scaled it up multifold, it became a different thing altogether. Now, this whole discussion happened way before the pandemic of Vikrant Rona. But then you started to go on floors at a time when there was so much uncertainty. No one knew if, when, how the industry would even come back on its feet. And yet you decided to go ahead with this at that scale that you had planned.
Yes.
What gave you that
It
confidence?
actually became even bigger after pandemic because there was a scarcity for every resource, and all those resources was a must in our firm. Now earlier, let's say there's a provision store that was open across the thing. So if you just say that what there is just even for a rice, my guy had to just cross the road, buy it, and come back. That's the thing. Now rice was in Jainagar because of COVID. Do you understand where I'm coming to? So yeah, I need all that. Earlier my budget was something. Now it increased because the resources coming from somewhere else now, and we need it. So it just even doubled after COVID. So, but yet we had to go back because I don't think we can. We had a reverse gear to our idea. We just had one auto, but that was only going forward. We never thought we would want a reverse gear. So we never had a car that had a reverse gear. That's, if you look at it as a journey, we went ahead. And when we went ahead, another challenge, what happened was Manju was left with no investors. He was left with no financiers, no investors because of what you said, as an uncertainty of whether theatres will open, whether at all, if at all, life will come back to normal. There was so much of, there. If you realize, Pratibha, that particular time, there are only people sitting and trying to even put more venom into the society by scaring people. Nobody was giving hope, except the doctors who really worked. Nobody were giving hope. In the name of so many things, they'll come on the channels, or the press, or online, scaring the shit out of people. Still, so at this time, I will not blame the investors or the financiers who backed out because it's their money. But I stood, and Manju stood. We went ahead, and I think if the film completed, a lot goes into what Manju has earned in this previous years. That is called as a good name. He has earned people. He has a goodwill in the society. I'm surprised by how I don't know. I never used to believe in this, but post this film, I strongly believe. You forget. Sorry, if I use the word, you delete it. Fuck the time, everything. Forget the script. You need to have the support of time. Time needs to stand by you, and nothing can shake. And time stood by Manju. I've seen people suddenly they're thinking, how do we even crack? And we need so much money, man. And this is all across a smile and a drink. No stress. We need an urgent one. Okay, we need some 10 crores. We need now. What do we do? You don't know, sir. Blah 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 blah. We're thinking, and suddenly we say, one call comes from him from somewhere, and he says that person says, I have this much money. Manju, since my office is also shut and we're not working, I think if you want to use it, please use it. And you can just give me whatever you want. Manju is like, what? Okay, and he'll come back and say, sir, I got the money, sir. From where? Sir, just one of my friends, sir, he called. What happens? So the people are there at home and they had money and they just gave it to him for whatever he is returning back with. So money has just come. And then there are friends he used to just call up and say, Manju, anytime you take it, no problem. So it just rolled, and we finished the film. And as I told you, so we dared, and time supported. We just dared.
But still, you dared at a time when you didn't know if this film is even coming to theaters. That's where I was coming
Because we were really not worried or looking at COVID and this. Pratibha, if that is it, that is it. If the world has to end, it has to end. And you're not somebody who's going to be flying in the flight and the world is ending, right? You're going to be alone somewhere. No, it won't. But how does that stop you from trying? How does that even is an affirmative answer that yes, this is going to happen, so don't try anything. Tell me once people have agreed to that. I think I stood up and I told Manju, let's just go come. Because sets were falling apart. I couldn't see my friend go down. Right, so already sets were put up.
Okay.
When we started the shoot, we started on in February, and I think by around the 17th, this thing came out that there's a small thing and we had to shut down. And by 21st or something, they announced 20th or something, they announced a lockdown. I'm sure 2020.
March, I think, yeah.
No, not March, Feb. So from then there was a lockdown. Got it. Now, but sets were already put in Annapurna studios and everywhere. And they were falling apart because everything is wood, everything is plants, and plants are all real.
Yeah.
And we have made sure that in the jungle, plants were taken care of and nothing were dying. They were watering resources, beautifully laid set where original plants are living. And when they need sunlight, we are replacing that. We are taking it and putting that back again, covering it up and making it beautiful. Everything is falling apart. Because even in the COVID time, there had to be people going to set, watering it and taking and everything, and wood things are falling apart, ferries falling apart. You know, the ferry set, what we had put where my shots you would have seen in the trailer. It's an original 40 by 80 ferry, huge. It's wood and it's inside a studio and it's all locked. Wood will go. I said, let's go. Let's shoot. So because government had given us a legal permission to cross the borders, but with limited resources and volume of people we could work, we took a stand. But we were scared. Not that we were not scared. We were scared. See the. That's when I say when time supported that. Not one case till we finished the whole film. There were films which simultaneously started with us after 1 month of our shooting. Some few people dared to, but they shut down because they had COVID cases in this. Within 3 days, 4 days, they had cases. We went, and there was nothing like a bubble at that particular time. We created. We didn't know that word is called bubble. We created how people should be standing, what's the distance, nobody's going to serve, how they'll put it in the dustbin, how the dustbin will be collected, and then immediately his gloves, how he has to. So there was a lot of math involved over there, more than science. We did. Today it's scary. Today we think, we ask ourselves, how did we even do that? But at that moment, I think the fact that we wanted to survive, the fact that we wanted to, already things have happened, my friend has to survive, that dare made us do everything.
And someone had to take that first step. Subsequently, of course, a lot of people
Just didn't bother with it, that someone has to, those big lines never occurred. We just wanted to survive. We just wanted our film to reach the show. You know, you start putting a boat, get into the water and start sailing, and suddenly realize there are small holes in the boat and water is coming through. What do? Sink. And you can't turn back. Put your fingers, make sure nothing is coming, and somehow push. That doesn't mean there was a motor, that doesn't mean there was so much of luxury in the boat. We made sure somehow everybody put their things together. You know, one hole, one finger we are putting, and suddenly we see there's one more there. Oh, put that, okay. You know, there's one more there, you put your leg there, and then suddenly, like, each one is trying. Many people have put their efforts together to make this reach the show.
Perfect. But now that the film's coming out in the next 3-4 weeks, it's still at a time when there is uncertainty. In the sense, how do you bring audiences to the theatre? It's difficult to put a finger on what will click with them. What about Vikrant Rona do you think will work for them? Because, you know, again, I've been going to the theatres every week in the 80s. And earlier the thing would always be that there's no good content. Like even prior to the pandemic, people would say, oh, Kannada cinema is not doing well, no good content. I mean, give them good content, they're still not coming to theatres. Everyone's just got so probably very comfortable with watching everything on their small screen, whatever. So what do you think is the USP of Vikrant Rona that will bring people to theatres?
No, even the whole perception, what you think is not exactly on the right track. People are coming. See, the whole thing is that people are fed up at staying at home. Alright, people are fed up at staying at home. They all want to come out. But then, theatre is nothing but a replica or a flashback into the COVID. 4 dark walls, you're clustered inside. You're putting them back in the hole where they all got out from. That is the scarier part of the theatre. Because they're all so fed up of the darkness and being inside the 4 walls. But yet, now the reasoning why they're not coming is, unless and until you give them a good reason to come to the theatre, they're not coming. That's all it is. Now, people, if you see the number of films that has been doing well across India, there are good number of movies also, which should be very good inspiring thing to the people, to the filmmakers. And look into close quarters, look into their windows, look into them, into their fraternity, into their parameters as to why it worked, what worked. Films are working. It's not that it's not working. But if you just think it's a film, and if you think that's enough, that if you have a name, then you're wrong. Your whole approach is wrong. Because people have plenty at home. They have many. Yet don't we go out to eat today also? Are people not going to the pubs? People are not partying. But if they have something that's already at home, they're not ready to come and spend. People have started valuing their money. They've started valuing everything, but more than that, they've started valuing time. Got it? It's not that there is OTT. It's not that people don't want to come to theaters. If they feel that there is something happening there, dude, I'm coming to the theater. I want to see. Recently, there was so much buzz about this Top Gun Mavic. See, it will come in the OTT in some time. People ran to the theaters because they just didn't want to miss that hugeness on screen. Each one, I remember one person coming and telling, and a word of mouth is spreading, and they're all going. You understand? So it is there. It is not that. It's about you. I mean, you have the potential. Does your film have the potential for them to come? And that buzz can be felt. And that buzz can be felt. It's not that it is people are not ready to come. People are coming. Nobody is willing to stay at home anymore. They all want to come. People are traveling. Just go to any restaurant, it's full. Go to anything, it's in entertainment world, it is full.
Right.
Good film releases, there is good booking happening. We distribute also, no? We know.
Right, but since you brought up Top Gun, I'm just wondering, you said everyone wanted to see how big it is on the big screen. Now, has it now come down to that A, star value, B, whatever, how...
No, I don't think star
Spectacular
value
is on
alone
the
is a
screen.
standalone thing. A good star is a good attention. But what are you doing? If you're still doing that hero introduction, fight and song, and by the end of the day, one more season, if you're totally into the same very predictable cliche thing, fair enough, it's a decision. But do not expect something huge to happen. Film may do well, but don't expect a miracle and a magic now. Now cinema is all about, it's a world thing, there's nothing like a pan-India, there's nothing like all that. Cinema is exposed now. People sitting in America, people sitting in South Africa, Korea, Japan are reviewing your trailers. That means people are looking into Indian cinema a lot. It's time for you to tell us, but it's all about what you want. Once you tell a story, please, you need to ask a question, what is it that you want? You want to tell the story to the world. You want to tell the world a story to be told only to few states. No, I want to limit it to only my state. What is it that you want first? Because along with every decision comes a huge money, a huge budget. Correct? So it's all about that now. People are ready to see any movie. And for that, when you say a world cinema, that doesn't even mean that you need to make films which is like 150, 200 crores only. A small film also people will be told, like a Parasite which ran extremely well everywhere. What is the budget? It's a small, tiny bit, but it's an approach. You're saying something new. It happens. Today it's like that, more than that. It's about what you want.
I'm going to come back to this. I asked you, what do you think was the USP of Vikrant Rona? But also,
See,
since you
like
just
what,
said something.
What is it that you had an attachment to this question earlier? This happening, people are not coming, blah, blah, blah. If they're coming, they have to have certain things. So what is the USB? Now, I cut the last part. I came to the first part and I explained to you, it's not that. People are coming. People will come. Just give them a good reason. Don't fool them. That's all it is. They'll come. Don't take it for granted. That, okay, this is Sudeep and this is this one and there's that actor, that superstar, this is that combination. We have a huge song in the film and nothing, blah, blah, blah. That won't work. And when I say that, I also am trying to tell you, people are fed up at sitting at home. And theatre is nothing but a replica of that. What is COVID? In 4 walls, shut everything. You can't work, you can't breathe. What is theatre? The similar, right? You're putting them into a cage. They're ready to come, but provided give them something. See, USB of Vikrant Rona, I can talk. The point is not that. But your questions mean why you came to USB of Vikrant Rona is for a different purpose. I answered that purpose. Vikrant Rona, we can still talk. Point is not that. I hope you got mine. You had a very lengthy attachment to the USB.
Completely.
That needed to be answered first and addressed.
But you also said it's not so much about all the heroism and all of that. So is this going to be the start of a new era in your career?
I had said this a decade back, which suits me now. Like, stick to the point. Why are we even having a song? Why are we doing this thing? Just to say a small thing, why are you having such a huge scene? Finish it off. Small thing, content. So there used to be a drag and probably an elaboration of many things. So today what is happening is, people have started editing themselves. Like if you watch a film I'm sure let's say you are watching a film and you have a lot of time, you're in a flight, you're downloaded a film or whatever, however it is, and you're watching a film. Have you noticed yourself how many times you press the 10 seconds? You keep forwarding the film. Correct? When song happens, you'll see something and it's nothing, and then fight will happen, and if it's interesting, probably you'll see. And probably if there's something very interesting, you may go back and see it again. And as you're forwarding, if you felt you missed out something, you'll go back again. Yeah, from here you'll watch again. And a probable 2.5 hour film or 2.25 hour film, you would have seen in 1 hour 45 minutes or 1 hour 40 minutes. And by the end, do you realize you still understood the film? Has it happened?
Yeah.
And not that you didn't have time. Because COVID has catered a lot and has watered a lot of impatience in people. That's all. When I say impatience in people, it is because of various reasons, maybe. Good, bad, not so great. But then, what they are trying to tell you and what I am trying to tell you is, you need to stick to the point. Stick to the point. Correct? Now, why you forwarded it? Not because there were no good faces there. The moment some scene started, you're so exposed to stories and everything, you approximately know what's going to happen there. And you just forwarded it. And by the end, you're going and telling somebody it's a fabulous film, watch it. Correct?
Yeah.
And both of you, not necessarily have forwarded the same thing. That person would have forwarded something, you would have forwarded, but both of you understood the film. See the beauty of it. If he or she has exactly forwarded what you have done only, I can understand. But you can't assure me that that person would have forwarded something else. The 10 seconds you forwarded, maybe is what she has seen here and forwarded the previous. You realize all of you still understood the film. Now that is the speed people need to tell the story. Don't have unnecessary things. It's what all the cinema is all about today. And if that adaptability has happened, which I was trying to tell long back, like stick. So this kind of filmmaking is suiting me a lot now.
Okay.
So I like to stick to the story, just come to the point, let's say it. And I agree. That's what is happening. I'm sure you could connect, and if you think about it, you'll realize, how did I understand the film? I just forwarded everything. You got it?
Yeah.
So everybody's editing today. Everybody are editors today. They are just editing. Instead, why don't we do it ourselves? Stick to it. When people want that, give that on. Why are we just talking because you feel there is something required?
Perfect. Also, of course, these days, I know you are not a fan of the word pan-Indian film, but I'm still going to bring it back. Because these days, every time there's a talk of a pan-Indian film, especially on social media, it starts with budget, box office collections, and if at all any talk about the content, that happens much later. Everything is now judged. So, I just wanted you to tell me how you feel about that, because personally, I think it's a little unfair, because content should always be king, and that is what matters.
We can't promote the content.
But it also gives rise to unnecessary fan wars.
See, wars always will be there, don't worry about that part. See, that's not declared by us now. That war is not declared by us.
But
So it's got nothing to do with the actors.
but these box office numbers and everything, they then set
Again,
some
they're all
benchmarks.
perceptions. They're all just perceptions. See,
And the
what
comparisons
makes...
and everything come in, which is
See,
unfair.
Pratima, you're actually not exactly right here. I'll try and tell you, if you go to every actor's house, they are eating the breakfast, having the lunch and chatting with the family, chatting with each other and having a party and going, working, coming back. Every producer is sitting and talking about how to sell this film and everything. Nobody is doing this. It's only online, all these things are happening because all are so free. Who's declared war here? Who's bothered about the numbers? A hero, he's worried about his film. I go, I'm worried about my film. Why am I worried about some other film, what money they made? I'm worried about on my backside, yeah, and my film, my thing which is on fire, I need to go get it to the shore and come back home. No war has been declared by the actor or the director or the producer. These are all happening online because each one has an account. And there are no proper laws here for that. So it's happening. We are not the ones fighting. When you say it's unfair, who's unfair? You're just reading articles coming from a third party. You have never heard a hero or a director or a producer typing and tweeting and declaring this war. It's just some people we don't even know. We don't know who you're talking about. And then that is picked up by certain media. And you're talking about
it. That's a talking point, unfortunately.
That's because you're going into the wrong angle at all, completely. Did a bigger name from the industry start this topic? Then why are we discussing fights which we didn't even ask for, which we are not even a part of? You understand? So, as and when we are talking here, there may be something which is going online right now which says, will Vikrant Rona crash all the world record of blah blah? That is not our line. And then somebody will say, how can you say that? My hero did this, your hero, blah blah. And we'll be having coffee here. So that is not at all that is not the serious part of our film industry. That is the entertainment part of the film industry, which even we keep laughing about. You understand? So when a film makes a huge number, we know the effort behind it and we know the luck behind it. Everything needs to be counted. And not that, we may not have it. We may also have it in our cooker. But how do we know till we leave it to the society? What we are worried about is not that. What we are right now worried about is to just make our film reach the show and get what deserves. We need to take home what we deserve. So that a lot depends on our fate, our promotions, our money we have invested, and how beautifully we have promoted. And by the end of the day, when they come, it's a content. You said content. How can I promote a content for people? I can only promote my film. Content is there. Once you go and you may like it, you may not like it because of the content. When we say it's unfair that people promote budgets are being spoken about and blah blah. No, nothing is unfair here. We talk what suits us. Suppose, let's say a film may not have had a great storyline and it was a box office super duper and it made a big money. Now, let me ask you a question. People have accepted it and it's become a huge thing. Why are we debating? No, we can argue with the content. We cannot argue with the success. How can you argue with the success? People gave it success. They gave it so many crores and they sent back home and we are saying, no, that was bad story. I don't even know how it ran. That was a bad story. Please, for heaven's sake, people gave it money. People loved it. Whether they loved it, they didn't love it, it's not the point. They made sure it's the hugest, biggest successful film or whatever in the world. I think we need to accept that. As I told you, we can fight, argue with the content of a film. I can debate with you on the content. How Pratibha, you tell me. When this is happening, blah, 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 blah. It's a perception though. How can you debate with the success? That guy is showing a huge account. Money is coming. Unfair is the most unfair word. I think it's just a perspective. If you think somebody should respect my opinion, I think I should respect theirs and leave it alone.
Fair enough. But
it is.
Okay. But, coming back to those sort of films, today it's also now a lot rides on how you market your film. Everything is changing, right? So when you say pan-Indian film, it's not just about how much money you've spent into it. It's also about how you bring it to the audience. So a lot of changes, maybe positive, are also happening, right? Because of this trend of Indian films.
How many times have you celebrated a birthday with a cake or something? Somebody has gifted you a cake?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it that first you see as you open?
My name.
Huh?
My name.
Just give me an elaboration. Just like you opened a box of cake,
Right.
you open it, both of you. What is it that first thing that hits you? What is that first you see? Don't go in depth. Just go on the surface level.
What it says on the cake.
On the cake and
How nice it looks.
The flavor, the
flavor?
color.
correct? No, that is marketing.
Right.
Inside lies a simple sponge cake. I guess you got your answer.
Yeah. But I think
Correct?
Yeah.
It's either a pastry or a chocolate or a red velvet, or it's all the same.
Right.
Now depends on you whom you're sending it to. You decorate it like that. It may be in thousands. The decoration itself is going to cost you like thousands. You'll have the best of the dragon fruits and everything laid out, and it looks humongous. And like, oh, man, what is this cake? Cut it, it's a red velvet, or it's a chocolate, or it's a Kannada, or it's a sponge. Don't you not agree?
Yeah.
What is the difference between marketing and this? Now it's about whom you're sending it to. That's why I said, what is it that you want? You want to cater to the bigger volume of people I'm talking about? Marketing is that. You cannot expect something miracle to happen all the time. That you just made a film, if it is good, they'll see, man. Then you're asking for it. You're walking on a very thin line. And yes, now the moment you say cake, there is a small sponge cake also that I can send you and say, no, she will understand my love. It's all about love, it's not about the decoration. I'll send it to you. You cut it equally well. But then you should understand, one more bigger cake comes with a beautiful decoration. The same person will be smiling for that now. Audiences are like that. They're very vulnerable and they're very fragile. They're very accepting. They just see what you're giving. Yeah. There is a decorum to everything. So that is what this is the best example I can give you as a cake. So cinema is like that. Cinema is just a sponge cake. It is just a red velvet or a chocolate cake. That's all it is. A chef can make it a little better, not so better, but it is still a cake, right? By the end of the day, it won't be bad. How do we decorate it? How do we do like Vikrant Rona? I said, it started on the small scale. Yeah. I had a whole vision and I immediately gave to Anup and I said, Anup, I think we should make it big. Otherwise, that guy had a very small, beautiful idea, because he was 2 films old. We were discussing a Bilaranga Bhasha, but he was not somebody who would walk up and talk, producer and say, sir, I want to make a 150 crore film, sir. No. He had not done anything like that as yet. But a man with ideas, a man with the brilliance, I believed and we just did. I took it there. Now, that is why we are sitting and talking and getting excited over a trailer. If my trailer is making the noise, Pratibha, it's only because of everybody's effort of making it look that scale, making it look international, and not just by just talking. See, Vikrant Rona always had a sound, but the perspective changed with the trailer coming in. You suddenly saw, oh yeah, these guys are talking like this. Maybe there was a theme, there was this, everything came, but okay, we all felt okay, it's good. But trailer just caught you because we just gave you a piece of a film, of many part of the film we gave you. So this now suddenly told you, these guys meant it, man. I mean, they said it. So yeah, we were crafting it all these years.
But this is a follow-up question. Does your faith in your project determine how well you promote the film?
I don't think so. The faith in the project started long back when it was still in the paper.
In general, what I mean
That's
is
what
that,
I'm
right.
saying. Faith started when it was still in the paper.
Sure. Right.
So it's not that it increased now.
Right.
The
Okay.
faith was there that day when it was a piece of paper like that. Our storyline was like this and we had ideas here. So because of the faith on that, we started putting everything together and we were just progressing towards putting baby steps towards what we had here. How do we get it? How do we get it? So our thing was not about the whole film. Like let's say about very short and something. How do we get it? So we were trying to go close to that and we were like, once we saw that, yeah, it's come, like how do we do the lighting? And then we cut the scene and say, yeah man, now the CG comes here, this is exactly. So we were getting excited in parts. So we had divided our film, you know. This, okay. We had, how do we achieve that, man? The moment, every time we are dreaming, 3 more check leaves will go. Bank account, suddenly graph comes down. And suddenly we lose like, okay, which is the new hope we're going to stick on to? Who's this new angel who's going to come into our lives and give us money now? You know what I'm talking about? So I guess it's all there. Faith started there, sir, when it is still in paper. We were just watering it. So faith didn't come after we saw the film and say, okay, now we will do it. We were traveling in the direction right from the word go.
Right. Okay.
Just that we were not talking about it.
Right. Now, hypothetically, say for a different film, it starts on a promising note, but along the way you realize that it's not come out the same way, and
Exactly.
right?
You said it.
And would you promote the film in the same manner with the same
Again, that comes
energy?
down to that answer I told you. Then,
Right.
that, again, at that moment, you should be practical enough to answer a few questions that's running in your head.
Right.
And ask at that moment, what is it that you want?
Right.
Do you want to still fool yourself? Or just want to, again, take a chance and fool people and then somehow do something and then get screwed on the first day?
Right.
What is it? It's not about that. See, that's what I told you. Now, where people fail is there only, sir. As in, we start and then we are not, then we realize we're not going the right direction. That means you are never right from the day one. So that's why I say homework is required. That's where I say a round table is required. Round table I say because I don't like tables with corners. I don't like a rectangle table where two bosses are then rest are employees. If you are an equity, you believe in equities, you believe, forget equality. You believe in an equity. The moment you say a round table conference is a myth. It may not even be a round table. But that is needed, where everybody are on the same page. We discuss each other's problem fair and we don't discuss a problem behind. Everybody wake up with the same intention. Everybody wake up with the same. You ask my director anything about the production, he will know. You ask me about what is running in a director's head, I will know. We should know each other. If there comes a thing like, what's up, this is, I don't know, sir, what is decided, I think I should ask you, then you're gone. That means there is somebody taking decisions in your absence and you don't know. A producer, director and me, as an actor, the selling point of the film, we need to know everything about each other. What is running in you? If my producer has made a small alternative change, I need to know, the director needs to know. There's no ego there. We need to. If the director thinks there is an improvisation or something that's happening, I need to know. Because we have sat about 1.5 years discussing even a comedy scene. And that is why the script is looking now. Now suddenly you want to make a change that can affect the other neighboring scenes also. Correct? We need to know what is happening. Why sudden improvisation? See, small improvisations is okay. Something that can affect the film is not okay. And how do we decide that? By talking to each other. One mind operating and being in charge is not, this is not some game, sir. This is a huge thing. This deals with a lot of money. This deals with a lot of lives. There are a lot of hopes on the film. When I say a lot of hopes on the film, that means I'm talking about the individuals. There are a lot of people there. Everybody has pinned up their hopes, giving their things. Here, one day, this one particular film, I tell you, I have had some films like this earlier also. But we discuss it. We discuss and we party. There are a lot of happy faces in this film because we used to wake up, we know everything. Sir, you know, sir, this happened. Yeah, we know. He told me. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, that's not being used right today. Yeah, he told me. How good is that? Being in the same page. What not? See, unless and until these people have this thing of this is running because of me, I'm the one responsible for this. Everything's going to fall apart. There was no star in the set, there was no director in the set, there's no producer in the set. There was a team in the set which was trying to make a film. There's one captain, we were trying to cater to whatever his requirements and we believed in him. Then there's one maker, producer, we believed in him. And all of them believed in me. So we just went. When I was giving a suggestion, there was no problem. Everybody had ears. They were listening. They were not just hearing, they were listening.
Right.
I just have a couple more questions, and I think a lot of people are waiting. I think in Chennai, you announced that Billaranga Basha is going to be your next project. Anup has also been talking about Ashwathama, a possible Vikrant Rona 2. When are you directing again?
See, there are a lot of people writing for me, and I guess there are times when I was waiting for people to write more and more and more for me, and when people are writing for me, I think it's time that I cater to their needs. Any which ways, I'm only the lead. You know, it's not the point. The point is, I don't look at my direction as a necessity. It's a passion for me. And when I feel there are fabulous directors, why am I even looking into that angle? I will. And probably the day you feel that instead of these kind of films, probably why don't you direct and make a film? If you talk that way, it will make sense. But no, I think there are good dreamers around me right now and good creative people. Will come back, and that doesn't reduce anything of mine. I'm equally involved. I'm equally there in all the aspects and looking in, and we're all enjoying and doing that. Yeah.
But there might still be a creative itch, no? That maybe I can do something.
Pratibha, it's all about that, no? Like, you see, there is a creative aspect here also. We are all there. It's just that I may not be calling the action and cut. How should that make a difference? We are a part of this creative team too. We are there. You know, it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. And what's your vision for your production house? Because you have Kiccha Creations, you have Supriya and me also. So now I would like to understand what is going to be
Kiccha
the
Creations is
distinction.
completely my baby. And Supriya and me is completely Priya's.
So how different will it be?
It will be different because the boss has changed. I'm the boss. I just don't have a control over what I do. I just do. When she becomes the boss, she has definitely a control over everything what she does. And a reason for what she does. And I guess that's what makes her a better administrator, I guess. I'm not sure. But here for me, we come from a creative field. We get excited over small things here. See, you don't understand. Like, see, if you see that glass over there, that was a wine glass which my one of the person who was cleaning it broke. He broke that wine glass. And for practical reasons, people will, okay, what they'll do, they'll throw it. Or whatever, if required. I saw it and I painted it and I put that rope and everything and I created a frame just because that one glass gave me a whole idea about that frame. So that's the way I look at it. That means because of one broken glass, I spent so much to create that. That's me. So instead of that, probably a good administrator, what they'll think is the glass is broken. If you try to do something, there's more expense that is coming. So that's just random throw. See, I hope I explained a lot to you. So my excitements are very expensive.
Okay.
So that is a Kiccha Creation is separate.
Okay.
Supriya is separate. It is not fine wherever it is.
Okay. Understood. Of course, he wanted to throw in a question about if you were to direct anyone from the new crop of actors, who would you like to have?
Me.
Yeah.
I'll direct me. I'm the new crop. Why should I count as the old one? I'm still giving everybody a competition. So all the new people, many of them want to direct me. So why should I direct? Many of them want to direct me, right? So it's a very beautiful thought. Actually, it's a very beautiful thing that I'm still able to cater myself. See, it's not a very arrogant answer. It's actually very thing that I'm able to cater. They still write for me. So in this process, if I say no, I want to direct somebody, I'm putting down myself as an actor. I'll direct myself.
But let's say, you praised Garuda Gamana a lot, right? If you were to make a movie tomorrow, similar to Garuda Gamana, who would the other lead be, let's say?
I would not make a similar film anytime, sir. I think I will.
Right.
The Garuda Gamana is a film I really loved watching.
Right.
See, that means I'm done with that kind of a film.
Right.
I will not make anything similar to that. And as a like a multi-star cast, I think I told in an interview long back that I don't think I'll do it unless and until it is really a requirement.
Sure.
Because I've not seen films doing justice to two heroes. One person will take away the cake.
Right.
Whatever you say, one person will, for some reason, will sit. And it's an injustice to the other person,
Right.
or that person's fans.
Right.
So I've had my experiences, but I don't mind playing a cameo. I don't mind going and doing my bit and coming back. If you're talking about an equal space in the film, I don't think in the history of multi-star cast, I don't see everybody getting equal names unless and until probably it's a very slapstick comedy. But if it's an intense film, it's a big film, I don't think ever you would have come home and said both of them are super. You'll just come in that steals the show. Guy steals the show. Correct? So I think both the actors would have spent years crafting their careers and something. So this is my perception. Please do not think that I'm judging this multi-star cast, but I just have taken a decision that I'll do my films alone.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
Big hit, flop, average, bad, I'll take the
Right.
all the blame.
Sure.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for your time.
Yes.